is Gone Racin, VSiN's premier NASCAR betting podcast. Here are your hosts, former NASCAR driver Brendan Gaughan and Las Vegas Motor Speedway's Jeff Motley.
Mr. Jeff Motley, welcome back in. I am Brendan Gaughan. We are Gone Racin. We're at the fabulous Circus Studio that we've been finishing out our playoff run here at. We had to get new digs for the playoffs. You know, I apparently was kicking their butt too bad at the South Point, so they tried to change the venue, think they could throw a little, kind of like changing the dealer on the cards.
It hasn't worked.
Hasn't worked. No. We got Wyatt, who doesn't talk anymore on air at this studio, and I honestly, if he was at South Point, as bad as they've done, I wouldn't talk anymore.
Exactly.
Yep. But he's trying to talk in our ears. So, Jeff, we had a great weekend last weekend at Homestead, Miami, which is such a... You and I talked. I love Homestead. It is one of my favorite mile and a halves. I know Vegas, you and I are both homers here, but it's just such a great, fun racetrack to be on. First part of the race kind of went to schedule, right? Not many cautions, just the stage breaks. And then, man, that third stage, though, did it set up for a heck of a playoff run and watching comers and goers, and did we have some shakeup on everything?
Well, and all of the drama centered around the playoff drivers.
Yeah,
you had Ryan Blaney leading, Larson's right behind him, then Larson comes in too hot. Blaney's trying to get a little slower because he doesn't want to risk a speeding penalty because he's got such a big lead. Larson hits the sand barrier, so now Blaney's kind of screwed because he's in the pits and they're going to throw a caution flag. That led to a red flag. And then right after that, what happens? Denny Hamlin, he goes and the steering breaks. He hits the wall going into 1 and 2.
They're saying this whole steering brake thing. I'm sorry.
Well, it wasn't a tire, and he didn't drive it straight into the wall. Because did you see the replay?
He hit the wall 15 times in the race before that.
But he went straight into the wall there. Something broke.
He hit the wall 5 times, literally 5 times. They talked about it on Moody's show.
Regardless of what happened to him.
5 times he hit the wall, and he's like, I can't believe a part broke. Hey, Denny,
then he
action's detrimental. How about you stop being detrimental to yourself? But what happens this time of year? What do we say?
Denny Hamlin falls apart. And then while he has created a caution, his teammate Martin Truex Jr. blows up. So we had calamity for a lot of playoff drivers, but we had 2 guys who actually 3 guys who was a huge day. Christopher Bell locked himself in. Ryan Blaney put himself in a great position to advance to his first ever Final Four, and Tyler Reddick kept himself right in the thick of things by a great run as well.
Well, and look.
William Byron.
I was going to say, William Byron was sitting there, almost won the thing. I had Byron to win last week, and I was sitting there going, go Byron, go. And then Bell gets him, and I look at my sheet, and I go, I got Toyota winning the thing. Go Byron, go Bell,
You had a lot more numbers on William Byron winning than you had on Christopher Bell.
But with a 50-point lead over everybody, I mean, either way, I would be just fine. But Christopher Bell did win the race, and Jeff Motley, you reminded me off air that you did have Christopher Bell circled to win the race before on our Gone Racin show. Hey, you can say that all you want. You did not say him on air.
You're right.
So you lost the 14-1 Christopher Bell.
But I did have him for top 3, just like
you
did.
So C-Bell to win was a 14-1. Top 3 was a plus 400. We said that was just way too big to pass up.
Those were great numbers.
Great numbers for C-Bell.
People should have won some money last week.
Group B was plus 230. Toyota was plus 140. He was a negative 150 to Chastain and negative 155 to Kyle Busch. So a great run for him. And if you look at the rest of the top 10, you said it. Ryan Blaney had a great run to finish second and was a plus 500 for a top 3. We talked about the Fords. We poo-pooed the Fords. We've been saying Stuart Haas or not, RFK is the number 1 Fords of the year. But there's 2 Fords left. RFK, who's in a winner go home with Chris Buescher. But Ryan Blaney comes home with a strong second-place finish. He did win the Coke 600 this year, so he did have a performance on a mile and a half. Just they didn't do it week in, week out.
And if you're Blaney, you're feeling pretty good because you're getting ready to go to a racetrack where your last 3 trips there.
Second place in the last one.
Second place in the last. I think he's got 2 top 5s and a 7th place in his last 3 races.
Or, 7th last one in the spring there. So I mean he's really good there.
But I think
also.
He had top 5s in both races last year.
So you look at that. Blaney was plus 500. You had Tyler Reddick at plus 140 for that top 3, and Tyler Reddick was one of the favorites. I mean, that doesn't surprise either of us that he was there. But how about some names? A.J. Allmendinger again.
You called it. I'll give you credit. You called it. You picked him to win his group. You said you even said it was your lock of the week, and I thought he's locking on A.J. Allmendinger. You knew what you're talking about. So little pat on the back for you there. I'll give you credit where credit's due.
Hey, almost the top 3. I mean, good thing I didn't go top 3. I just went group with him. But 5th place, Bubba Wallace. Another strong run for Bubba. 6th place, Ty Gibbs. finishing this year out on a super strong note. And then how about two guys, Eric Almirola and Austin Dillon?
Boy, Austin Dillon
They both needed that. Both of those guys needed that. So that was great for both of them. Now we got the playoff standings, and we talked about it. Motley, what a shakeup. Blaney come in the race like 14 points behind, not looking good. Ford's not running well. They're not doing good mile and a halves. And you get out of this, and you got Blaney to the good by 10 points. In the playoffs, that's a big deal.
Well, it is, and Byron's feeling pretty good. He's 30 points to the good. Look, the only thing it's really going to move
this up.
here,
Somebody's got to win.
If somebody wins, if Buescher wins, if Truex or Denny Hamlin, and we certainly know Denny Hamlin and Martin Truex Jr., I don't think this is Chris Buescher's best racetrack. I don't really see
average finish 17.2 last 10 races.
So I think if you're Chris Buescher, I think it's probably
Hail Mary time
to break out the golf clubs. But Denny Hamlin and Martin Truex Jr., we both know what their success has been at Martinsville. They've got to feel confident. And then that puts Ryan Blaney on the bubble. Tyler Reddick also sitting there. So if you're Byron, I think you feel pretty good. Byron runs well here. I think Byron's going to be fine. But I think it's going to be a heck of a battle for that last position.
Looking at those championship odds, though, which is the important stuff. We all season long, Jeff, we've talked about what do you do for the futures, right? What do we do? Who do you take the money on? Who do you think? Christopher Bell at one point this year was like 14, 16, 18, 20 to 1. He was 850 last week. This week, he's 250. That's what happens. That's why we tell you, you can hedge some of these bets, man. You can take these bets and say, hey, you know what? I can do some stuff here, and he's one of them. And right now, you got Tyler Reddick 22 to 1, Truex 15, Hamlin 11, and Buescher 75. Hamlin and Truex have such a great history here. Once they make the playoffs, they're both going to be 400s at the most. So here's another way to hedge. You can put a little bit of money on Martin or Denny. You got yourself a nice hedged bet going into Phoenix. If they pull it out this round, even Tyler Reddick at 22 to 1. Now, he's 22 to 1 because his history here, Jeff, 7 races, 1 top 10, average finish 20.1 for Reddick.
Yeah, and I think he's in trouble this week, especially given Byron and Blaney's success here. I think the only ones that really are going to have a chance there are Hamlin or Truex to try to knock them off.
Yep, and so, Byron, and you and I both think Byron's safe, right? Even if somebody wins on the outside, Byron has to have such a bad day.
He would have to blow an engine.
He'd have to be near dead
He's going to have, or get in a crash early in the race. I don't see Byron getting knocked out.
So this weekend, we are, of course, when we do, we always show this schedule graphic, right? And we got all these races on the schedule. Schedule graphic is really easy right now.
2 to go.
2 to go.
This week and next week.
This is, wait. This is the word I get to use all week. I totally forgot. Oh my God, Pete Pistone. I'm so sorry.
Listening?
That's right. It's the penultimate round. We have Martinsville Speedway, the penultimate round of the 2023 NASCAR Cup Series season, the Xfinity 500 at Martinsville.
My hometown.
Your hometown, that's right.
I've done many shows from the media center there when I've been back there.
And they right now are doing RCR Fan Day because, of course, RCR right near the closest race team to Martinsville, dang near. And then, of course, the season finale next week, November 5th at Phoenix. A great time will be had by all. Martinsville, though, Jeff, you and I both know, it's the shortest track. Now, caveat, we now run.
It's a shortest race that we run a points race on.
There you go. Shortest real track. The Coliseum, of course, is tiny, but it's a half mile. It's the paperclip, right? We all talk about it. One turn this big, one turn this big. And so we call it the paperclip.
2 drag strips and 2 hairpin turns.
And it's tough to turn that baby. 2 p.m. on Sunday, October 29th.
Do you know why the turns are that?
Yes, I do, actually.
You did know?
Railroad tracks.
Yes. They couldn't move the railroad tracks, and they couldn't move the road. So
they fitted in between them.
They
wedged it right in there.
They have since moved the road and the railroad tracks.
Yeah.
But in the 1940s, when that track was built, it was not an option.
And of course, Christopher Bell did the walk-off last year. We also remember the Hail Melon. The Hail Melon will not be in play this year. I think that's the dumbest thing that NASCAR would make a rule of. But the Christopher Bell did the walk-off this year. Can we get 2 years with a walk-off? Christopher Bell doesn't have to do it this year.
Right, and I mean, I don't think Byron has to walk it off. I think Blaney could walk it off, or one of those other two. I don't see Reddick. To me, Reddick and Buescher, look, maybe they'll pull it off. But
here's the thing. And Reddick doesn't need to walk it off. Reddick just needs to beat Blaney, get some stage points, and have Blaney have a bad day. But if you talk about history...
And not have Hamlin or Truex win the race.
But if you look at Blaney, 7 top 10s, 6 top 5s, last 10 races, average finish 6.9.
Right. We're not going to see him on our little stat thing here because he hasn't won. We've got a list on our graphic of everybody that's won.
All the guys that's the track record, the guys that are great. And noticeably absent is Tyler Reddick right there. But if you look at this, and we don't have Ryan Blaney on it, but I can give you those. But look at some of these. Denny Hamlin, 50% in the top 5, over 50%. That's a stellar record right there.
And I believe those 3 wins by Martin Truex Jr. have all come in the last 5 years, too.
Yeah, Martin, well, it's definitely later in his career. Last 10 races, 3 wins, 7 top 10s, 6 top 5s, and they all have come in the last, since 2019.
Yeah, sometimes I think we look at the Martin Truex Jr. stats.
You got to go back,
and you have to realize his early years, he wasn't in nearly the level of equipment that he has been in the last few years of his career from the championship on.
Well, and he got better. It seemed like he aged like fine wine, right? He got better and better as he got older.
Like Harry Gant, you know. He ain't quite as old as Harry, you know.
But he was. And at the bottom of that list though was Kevin Harvick. We got to give the Harvick plug, right? I mean, Harvick it's his last time at Martinsville.
That amazes me. 44 starts and only 5 top 5s and 1
20
win.
top 10s. 20 top 10s.
But only 5 top 5s and only 1 win in 44 starts for Kevin Harvick at. That just surprises me.
From the Bakersfield kid, right? Where grew up on the short tracks, grew up doing Saugus, knew.
And then there's Logano too, same situation. Although Logano should have 2 wins, Matt Kenseth made sure that he didn't have one of them.
We're not going back to that. That's ancient history. Matt says we're not allowed. All right, guys, we got you through all the fun parts now, or all the boring parts. Now we get to the fun parts. We get to make the bets.
It's all fun.
It's all fun and games until someone pokes an eye out. Then it's just fun. We'll come back, get you to the odds to win, get you to some head-to-heads, and all the great stuff me and Jeff give you.
This is Gone Racing, VSiN's premier NASCAR betting podcast. Here are your hosts, former NASCAR driver Brendan Gaughan and Las Vegas Motor Speedway's Jeff Motley.
Welcome back in, everybody. Brendan Gaughan, Jeff Motley here, Circa Studio, doing Gone Racing, and we're right now getting to our odds to win the race. And Jeff, you and I off air just took a quick glance at our odds to win this race, and we are scratching our heads.
Well, the first thing it told me was the lack of preparation that you and I do, that we flipped our page over.
Professionally unprofessional.
And both of our eyes just popped out of our head to see this favorite that Denny it's like, why does anybody else going to show up? Denny should just race by himself at this. I totally am in disagreement with
the
this.
worst is, I'm up 50 units in the thing this year? It's gambling and it's NASCAR. I got this.
You going to bet on Denny this week to win?
No, I'm just saying how big I'm up.
You're talking about a guy with no
value. I'm talking
value.
about with our preparation skills.
Well, this is true.
I'm still up 50 units.
Well, at least I'm in the positive now. And went.
Are you positive enough that you could?
No, I need to get through this week. I don't need to have a -5.
-5.
But I could I need to be more than 10.
You need
to be more
-10.
than 10 to the good going into this week. But go ahead and let's start talking about
these. Let's get the odds,
because there's some great numbers out here on everybody else.
And embarrassing. Like I'm sorry, but DraftKings, what in the wide world of sports? Denny Hamlin plus 275. Your next is Kyle Larson at plus 700. That's a 500-point spread.
Didn't Kyle Larson win here in the spring?
Yes, Kyle Larson is the last winner at this racetrack, and I'm going to get to a number here in a minute. Kyle Larson 700, William Byron 750, Brad K 850, Martin Truex Jr. 900, double digits at Ryan Blaney 11-1, Joey Logano 14-1, Tyler Reddick 15, Kevin Harvick 18, Kyle Busch 19, Christopher Bell, Chase Elliott 20, Chris Buescher 22, Ty Gibbs 28, Eric Almirola 30, and Chase Briscoe 35. Jeff, Joey Logano, who has an average finish of 6.1 in the last 10 races, 9 top 10s, 5 top 5s, 1 win last 10 races. Denny Hamlin, 10 races, average finish of 11, 6 top 10s, 6 top 5s, no wins.
What?
And he's 14-1. And the guy that did the walk-off last year,
who also, by the way, has finished first and second in the last 2 races, period, who's riding momentum.
Oh, and doesn't matter that he's, got the is locked into the playoffs. 20-1.
Christopher Bell 20-1. Oh boy, that is.
Joey Logano 14-1, Christopher Bell 20-1, and even Byron Larson, which you don't think of Byron Larson. Byron's got 6 top 10s last 10 races here. Byron's not bad, but I'm sorry, I don't see
By what measure are you putting Tyler Reddick and Kevin Harvick ahead of Christopher Bell right now?
And how about Chase Elliott? Well, Ryan Blaney. He's got an average finish of 6.9 with 7 top 10s in the last 10 races. And Chase Elliott, Elliott,
let's break it in further. Look at the last 3 races for Ryan Blaney.
Yeah.
The last 3 races for Ryan Blaney, 2 top 5s and a 7th.
I'm just looking through stats going, I don't see Denny Hamlin at plus 275 here. Blaney comes off a 7th, a 3rd, a 4th, an 11th, a 2nd, 5-4. I mean, wait, in this network owned by DraftKings now? Can we get knock? Can we get somebody on the phone?
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. I don't ever encourage people to bet what is surely to be some losers. However, I think you probably could go out there and bet Larson, Byron, Bell, and Blaney all to win. One of those 4 guys is going to win this race. You might even throw Truex in there. Throw Truex in there. You still would have 5 guys, and you'd have Larson at plus 700.
3 wins in the last 10 races, by the way. Martin Truex Jr.
Yes.
3 wins, last 10 races.
I'm just saying I am all on the anybody but Denny Hamlin bandwagon to win this race.
I'm struggling. Let's get to the back page so we can finish off some of these odds to win. And we kick it off with Ross Chastain, the Hail Melon, 40-1 to win the race.
Keep in mind, he had to be in position to do the Hail Melon.
That's why
year.
I said it was no big deal to say you had to do this stuff. It's so dumb that they did it. Ryan Preece, Bubba Wallace, and Alex Bowman all at 45-1.
Bowman has a win here in the Cup Series.
Bowman's disappeared again, man.
Bubba has won here in the Truck Series.
He beat me. That's right. Clay Campbell. Still mad at him for that. Daniel Suarez, 65, Eric Jones, 100, Austin Dillon, 100. Then the longer guys, Gillen, 150, Hocevar, 150.
Well, Hocevar back in the 42 this week, huh?
Hocevar is back in the 42 this week. And Dinger. I've always thought Dinger should be better here with his road course racing prowess. That we always said that with the braking here and those sorts of things, road racers used to do better. But he doesn't. Even when he was with Penske back in the day, he never has been all that great with it. Anyway. So on the back page, nobody really I'm interested in honestly picking to win this race. There's nothing for me back there. No low-hanging fruit. Nobody that I could say, yeah, you could talk about Alex Bowman, but Alex Bowman, I can't even tell you that he's still racing right now.
Yeah, boy, I mean, it has been amazing to see the success of Larson and Byron. And like Elliott has just had a wonky year. I mean, there's just no other way to say it. I mean, there's
something off right now, and they just gotta regroup. I mean, other than that part, but Alex Bowman has been persona non grata. I mean, do we even know that he's racing?
I mean, he's in witness protection right now.
Yeah, witness protection. All right, let's get to the top 3s. And to kick off our top 3s, we start off with Denny Hamlin as your massive odds-on favorite again at minus 135. The big 3 year, we used to get a lot of minus numbers. We haven't seen a lot of minus numbers in recent history. Denny is a minus 135, which I think they have completely messed up. Then you start Kyle Larson at plus 190. Let's talk about some of these great numbers for top 3s. William Byron plus 210, Brad K 250, Martin Truex Jr. hello plus 260, Ryan Blaney hello plus 350. Joey Logano, 400. Tyler Reddick, 400. Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, both 500. Seabell, Chase Elliott, 550s. Chris Buescher, 6. Ty Gibbs, 8. Eric Almirola, plus 850. And Chase Briscoe at plus 900. Jeff, I'm irked to frickin' anybody that listens to us. Wow. I right now, I could take Blaney, Logano, and Christopher Bell 3 units, and I'm not going to lose anything if I just take those 3 guys.
I think you're exactly right, because one of them, if not all of them, are going to finish in the top 3.
I think that Blaney's going to be there unless something happens, and he's going to do what he needs to do. I think Seabell is going to run great, and Joey Logano doesn't care anything. If Joey Logano wins this race, he helps Ryan Blaney. So Joey Logano is going out there to try to win this race. I think that's I look at that and go, wow. Just topsy-turvy.
And I think probably the one, and both the odds to win and the odds for top 3, that I just can't wrap my head around is Bell. I mean, those numbers on Bell, I don't know. Obviously, I'll be picking Bell for the second week in a row for a top 3, I believe, here, because plus 550, I'm not going to leave that dangling out there.
Now, there is one little low-hanging fruit that we got to get to. Chase Briscoe on the bottom of this page at plus 900. Chase Briscoe has 5 starts here, has 3 top 10s, 1 top 5 in his 5 starts, and he was 5th. The last 3 going backwards is 5th, 9th, and 9th. So Chase Briscoe, not bad at this place. We both know they have not been running well. But if you're looking at a place that I got a plus 900 for a top 3, here's a guy that runs pretty well here. In the spring this year, he was 5th place, finished 5th and 2nd in the stages, and led 109 laps.
It's kind of interesting how you see from year to year how certain guys have regression, some guys have progression.
Would you call him regression or the team?
Well,
I mean, I can't say him. I got to go probably more team on that one.
Well, and maybe that is the case. But I look at Bowman and Briscoe as 2 guys who I really feel like regressed this year.
Bowman, I would say regressed. Briscoe, I'll give an asterisk.
Where you had the RFK team majorly progress. Went way up with what Buescher and Keselowski have done. So maybe you're right on the team because Almirola hasn't run that well. Even Harvick hasn't run very well in Preece. I mean, we love Ryan, but it's been a struggle.
The team is not, the Stewart-Haas Racing has not run, as an organization, has not been as strong as the past. So to me, I look at Chase Briscoe and say, I can go, was it Chase? Is it the team? What have they missed? But when I look at an Alex Bowman, you've got 2 guys that are the strongest guys that have been favorites almost all year to win this championship. And then you got Alex Bowman, who we talk about last year was in the playoffs, and this year he has not missed. Yeah, okay.
And he missed some time too, kind of like Chase did.
He missed 2 races, but still, he's just not that would be a regression in my books. Let's get to the second page, and once again, not a lot of low-hanging fruit for me to analyze here, but Ross Chastain 11, Ryan Preece, Bubba Wallace, Alex Bowman all at 12, Daniel Suarez 16, Eric Jones, Austin Dillon 25, Gilligan and Hocevar at 40s. There's the dinger out there at 50. Michael McDowell down there at the 80s. There's just I don't have a whole lot of. I mean, Ricky Stenhouse did finish 8th in the spring race.
But I think the 2 guys here to get them in double digits, if you're really looking to flyer in top 3, Chastain and Bubba both. I mean, look, I don't think either one of us would be shocked if one of those guys got a top 3. I'm not going to bet it, but at least I think there's a couple of guys that have got some good numbers on them that if you want to take a flyer, you could.
Chastain's got 2 top 5s. He's got a 4th and a 5th. The Hail Melon move, which gave him the 1, and then a 5th the year before. So I mean, I'm with you on that. I can say that Chastain would be one that I could look at.
And Bubba's gotten more comfortable on the short track racing.
But listen,
again, he's got some confidence because he's won here in a truck.
Bubba has impressed at a lot of places this year that we didn't expect him at. So I am absolutely not going to say I would not be surprised if Bubba does well. Just looking up his stats, not bad. All right, when we come back, odds to head-to-heads and our group pick bleh, professionally unprofessional. Goodbye.
This is Gone Racin, VSiN's premier NASCAR betting podcast. Here are your hosts, former NASCAR driver Brendan Gaughan and Las Vegas Motor Speedway's Jeff Motley.
Want to rewatch any part of today's show, or any past show for that matter? Check out the Gone Racin podcast. It's free and available now at VSiN.com/podcast or wherever you get your podcasts. We give you all the latest news, odds, and everything you need to know to head straight to the betting counter for each and every NASCAR Cup race. And while you're there, catch up on every other great VSiN show as well. VSiN.com/podcast.
I'm glad you got your tongue untied after the end of the last segment there.
As Moody has on the show, Polar Bear. Professionally unprofessional. I just killed that exit in the last segment. So as the guys in the booth back there laugh and go, oh my God, they can't wait to get this show done for the season. We only have 2 more episodes.
And they don't have to deal with you in the final one.
They don't have to deal with me.
This is your last one of the year.
That's right. I won't be here. I'm going to be down in Baja 1000 time for me.
Baja 1000.
Wyatt said he knows that they won't be missing me. That was what he just said.
Not
very nice.
Wyatt has lost so many picks, and then he walks in here today completely decked out head to toe in Green Bay Packer gear. I mean, he's just asking for it.
Hey, listen.
Packers are the only people who have lost more than Wyatt has this year. I think he likes those Michigan teams too. And I don't know which one is in more trouble these days, Michigan or Michigan State.
Let's get to the head-to-heads. Oh, if people can still hear Wyatt.
It's a rough year for Wyatt. He's going to be that guy on New Year's Eve that literally is tearing everything up. He just destroys his apartment.
Wait for 2023
Fresh start. He can't wait to wake up on New Year's Day.
Well, head-to-heads we can do quickly today. It almost looks like a Talladega race. Not a lot of fun in the head-to-heads. Westgate has really has gives us these, and they've tightened up at the end of the season. Let's just say a little bit, Motley. A lot of even money picks. Kevin Harvick is even money against like 4 different people. Martin Truex getting a little bit against Byron. Only one I like here. I know Chase Elliott has not been the Chase Elliott of old, but Chase Elliott versus Chris Buescher. Chase Elliott last 10 races, average finish 9.9. Chris Buescher, I got to slide this computer screen all the way down here to 15th, and average finish is 17.2, 1 top 10 versus 8 top 10s. I like that 105.
Well, if I had to pick one, I agree with you. I like that one. I think part of that odd is out there because they know the desperation that Chris Buescher
absolutely
is in.
I get it.
And I think that, they're going to throw everything they got at it to try to win this race. So, yeah, it's probably the best one up there, but I'm kind of with you. I kind of feel like we're looking at Daytona and Talladega driver head-to-heads here. So, I don't think I'm going to pick any this week.
I think I might pick that one because I got such a big lead I can.
And I want you to know that I was so, hell-bent that I'm going to be in the black numbers, right? I'm going to be in a positive at the end of the year. I thought, you know what? I'm going to come into this deal, and I'm going to pick a couple of head-to-heads here to be safe, where I just got to get a head-to-head.
I can't do it. There's nothing there to give you.
I'm looking at it like, you got to be kidding me. No
Nothing to give
way.
you.
Not doing it.
Nope. So I can punch and Judy you to death already.
But that's no fun. Do you like
whether you win 2-1 with a bunch of singles or you hit a grand slam home run and win 10-0?
I'm gonna start calling you Pete Rose.
Hey,
you love to hit singles. You love to gamble.
Hey. Good one. I kind of like that one. All right, let's get to the group matchups. And Group A, somebody is noticeably absent from these groups because judging by how far they have him as the guy to win the race, you couldn't put him in one. Kyle Larson and William Byron are your co-favorites in Group A at 260. With Brad Keselowski, by the way, as a co-favorite at 260. I don't know how he ended up in Group A. And Martin Truex Jr. is 290. If you're going to entice me, I would love to see a 3 number in front of Truex, but that's Truex has got better average finishes than every single person on that list.
He does, but I'm all about the what have you done for me lately. Truex, that team has just been in such disarray during the playoffs. He even hasn't run that well at Martinsville the last couple times out. To me, this comes down between Byron and Larson, but I'm not sure which one between Byron and Larson that I would pick. So at plus 260, maybe take both of them. If you take both of them, you could get a win, but I'm not going to go down that road either. So it's kind of a group for me.
Yeah.
So
Truex, except for the wheel. What did we say? 1 top 15 finish in the playoffs.
1 top 15.
Yeah, 1 top 15. So,
and no top 10s. I don't believe.
No. The top 15 was
dropped out once Blaney got
Oh, that's right.
He ended up 11th, I believe.
Yeah.
Right.
So let's go to Group B. Group B has Joey Logano is your favorite at 260, and then Kyle Busch, Tyler Reddick, and Ryan Blaney all 270s. This is a tough one. I like Blaney and Logano. I like the top and bottom, so I struggle with this. I can't split a hair on this one. Tyler Reddick has not been good there, so I could make it a 3-man race, but.
And Busch has struggled too down the stretch. I like Blaney here just because he's getting a better odd than Logano. I kind of see your point that they're kind of one and the same. I also like the fact that Blaney's the guy that's in the playoffs. The plus 270, I think that's a pretty good number value on Ryan Blaney. I like Blaney there. I
think Logano's going to go out and try to win the race to protect Blaney because Blaney just has to run well. If Logano wins the race, he doesn't have to worry. Let's get to Group C. Group C is your leader in the clubhouse. It's great to see. I love seeing him up front, even though he hasn't been running there. Kevin Harvick plus 245, Christopher Bell 265, Chris Buescher 270, and Chase Elliott 295. This one, my heart always screams Kevin Harvick this year just because he's my buddy.
But my head tells me it's a lock.
Chris Buescher. Seabell.
Christopher Bell.
I meant Seabell, wrong Chris. I'm the same way. Buescher doesn't have a great runs here. Chase Elliott has been the up and down guy that we've talked about. I think Seabell is about as good of a lock as I can pick. In kind of
like your Allmendinger pick from last week. To me, Christopher Bell all day in this group. I'm shocked he's in Group C.
So am I. Especially you got to figure. You look at what he did last year with the walk-off win when he needed it. You look at what he's done the last couple weeks. Second, first. even before that, in the rounds before it, he's been super strong down the stretch. You and I talked earlier this season that Seabell was our dark horse. I think I even had him listed as the dark horse. We got to see those picks next week. Got to make sure we double check how we did. But I like Seabell by a large margin there.
Yeah, huge Seabell here. Yep. I'm with you totally, Christopher Bell.
All right, going to the next one, and this bums me out. Man, I gave that hidden stat. I was hoping for a number that would be bettable. Chase Briscoe is your leader at 195. Bubba Wallace, 250. Ty Gibbs, 315. Alex Bowman, 350. Here's the bad news. 350 on Alex Bowman doesn't even make me blink enticement. Chase Briscoe at 195 pisses me off because I really wanted to take Chase Briscoe in a group because I thought I had some great hidden stat. And then you got Bubba Wallace, Ty Gibbs sitting there in the middle.
Good numbers on Bubba Wallace and Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs especially.
Ty Gibbs has been phenomenal lately. So, I mean, you look at what Ty Gibbs has done down the stretch here, I really do like Ty Gibbs. I mean, he finished 18th in the spring here. Where'd Bubba Wallace finish in the spring? Bubba was 9th in the spring, though. I don't know. Bubba's probably the right pick, but
it's good numbers on those two. I think, honestly, I'm not that sold on Briscoe. I know you got your little stat on Briscoe.
But he's 195. I can't bet him. I mean, I would almost not bet this group just because he's so low. I think he's the guy to beat in this group, but he's 195.
Yeah, I mean, the group scares me a little bit, but I'd go Gibbs or Bubba, either one. And, I mean, if I'm going to be that non-committal, then why not take Ty Gibbs at plus 315? It's a much better number.
And that was where I was heading with it, was I might as well jump on the Ty Gibbs bandwagon just because he's 315. I mean, I think he's been running great. He's been running strong down this stretch. All right, let's get into Group E. And Group E kicks off with Stewart Haas co-favorites, Eric Almirola and Ryan Preece, both at 240, and Ross Chastain, 260, Daniel Suarez, 350. Man, Daniel is just...
There's another regression this year.
That one has been bad. Suarez did finish... He was 4th and 5th in stages, led 7 laps here in the spring, but ended up finishing 17th.
I'm all in on the Watermelon Man.
Yeah, kind of am too. I mean,
I don't think Preece or Almirola, and they're the favorites here. It comes down between the two teammates to me, Ross Chastain and Daniel Suarez. And week in and week out, Chastain's been better than Suarez.
I can't disagree with anything there. It's just a boring group to me.
It's a boring group, but guess what? It pays the same if you win it.
No, boring doesn't. Yeah, boring. You're 100% right there. Boring pays the same, but I don't know. I mean, I have to say Chastain easy. I wouldn't pick anybody else. I mean, Eric Almirola, sure. Eric Almirola finished 6th in the spring, 2nd and 9th in the stages, led no laps, but still, I mean, he finished 9th last weekend. Congratulations. He's had some mediocre runs.
We don't even know if he's
coming back.
If he's coming back. We don't know. I like Chastain there.
Yeah, so do I. I'll put an arrow and might bet that one. All right, let's get to Group F. And Group F has a lot of the fun names that we always like to talk. And Todd Gilliland, a heavy favorite at plus 200. Carson Hocevar, 275. And then the Dinger, 295. But then Ricky Stenhouse Jr. down there at 325. That's the one. Hold on. That's enticement. And they might entice me on that one. Stenhouse, only one top 10 in the last 10 races, which is from this spring. 8th place finish in the spring. Average finish of, I think he has the average finish in this group. Ricky Stenhouse, average finish 19.1, Jeff.
I love 295 on AJ. Allmendinger, good run last week.
Good run last couple weeks.
Yep, last couple weeks. A little bit of momentum going with that team. He might be one of his last Cup races for a while. Give me AJ.
I can do that too. I can do that. All right, when we come back, no flubs on the exit. It's the prop bets and our picks.
This is Gone Racin, VSiN's premier NASCAR betting podcast. Here are your hosts, former NASCAR driver Brendan Gaughan and Las Vegas Motor Speedway's Jeff Motley.
And Mr. Motley, white flag in the air. I miss old Wyatt waving the white flag for us.
I just miss old Wyatt waving all the flags.
He definitely, if he was waving a flag, he would give me a black flag earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
Woo, boy, that was bad. Last segment here on Gone Racin, and we got through all of our group matchups, and we have, of course, our prop bet picks left, and that is our manufacturer prop. And Toyota is your favorite this week, Mr. Motley. It's changed on the board. We got Toyota at plus 140, Chevy at 190, and Ford at 220. I don't dislike the 220 this week.
I think the 220 is a good number, but I love getting 190 on Kyle
Chevrolets.
Larson and William Byron right now. That's kind of the way I'm looking at it there. I just like the 190 for Larson and Byron. Larson won here in the spring. Byron won here the spring before. Those guys are going to be tough.
I think this flop, Chase Elliott's been running so bad. If Chase Elliott was still running Chase Elliott pace, absolutely the Chevy would be the favorite. But you lose Chase Elliott in that. But the Ford, now look, the Fords last week were 390. What?
But I still think you really, okay, you think you got two guys, Logano, Blaney. I'm thinking you really got Blaney. I just think Logano struggles so much this year. But no, 220 is a good number, and so is 190 on Chevy.
Yes, it
so
is.
To me, don't go Toyota this week.
I don't know. It's still Toyota. That's not a bad number still on Toyota. I mean, 140. I'll take it. All right, let's get to how we did last week. I definitely want to focus on that because
this is a fun part of the show this week.
Yes,
Brandon.
Me and Mr. Motley plus 9.2 and 9.7 units between you and I, sir. Each of us won 3 of our bets. We both had C. Bell. You had Bell in the group. You doubled down on him. Had Wallace in his group. Me, I had Bell as the top 3. I had the Dinger and Toyota to win at 140. By the way, that's the odds to win the race right now. But then the pit crew, they at least got Chris Bell to win his group, so they ended up with that little meager minus number. But for the season, man, the cream has absolutely just destroyed the top of the bowl right now.
It's fun. You are 40 ahead of me, and I am 42 ahead of the pit crew.
Yeah, and
so the question is
I see Wyatt and they're waving, flagging down, going, he's going crazy. Like, we can stop talking about this now.
Question is, will the pit crew pick like Hocevar to win this week to try to make up all that? I mean, you've got their picks probably in front of you.
I do.
Josh Bilicki.
Josh Bilicki is what he says.
Is Bilicki even in the race?
I don't think he even has an odd. So, a guy named Kyle, I got to make sure I don't butcher his name here. Kyle Honeyset. He tweeted both of us this week, or X'd us, whatever you call it now. And
the site formerly known as Twitter.
Yes, Prince. He said every week we should probably pick a winner. And we like to listen to our fans, right? And he's not wrong. We should probably just have that doesn't count against our 5 picks. Just we should try to pick a winner every week. And so I don't disagree with that, but he also wants to know our final 4. So let's do our picks, then we'll give our final 4s. And of course, we lead off with the pit crew. And the pit crew will lead the way. And they got William Byron to win at 750. They need that. Chris Buescher to win at 22-1. They need that. Chase Elliott top 3 at 550. Ryan Preece to win Group E at 240, and Ricky Stenhouse to win Group F at 325. If they could hit all of those, and even though 2 are mutually exclusive, and still not catch me.
I don't think they'd catch me.
No.
So, of course, I could go -5 this week, but hopefully that won't happen.
Your turn, Mr. Motley.
Okay, I'm going with 4 group picks. I'm going to go Ryan Blaney to win Group B at +270. I'm all in on Christopher Bell this week at +265 in Group C. I'm going to go into Group E, and I'm taking the Watermelon Man, Ross Chastain. Group F, I'm going for A.J. Allmendinger. I think he's going to stay hot. And I'm going to take that Chevy at +190 to win. And again, that's Larson and Byron, who I'm kind of jumping in on there.
I'm going back and forth, scratching things out, going back and forth on my 5th pick. I've changed my mind like 5 times while you were talking. I'm going to take 2 top 3s this week. I'm going Blaney and Logano. I'm putting my money in those 2 Ford camps. I do like both of them, the 350 and 400. I'm taking 1 head-to-head. I'm going Chase Elliott with the +105 over Chris Buescher. I know he's in the playoffs, but I think that's a good one. Group C, Christopher Bell, I'm with you. That was my lock this week. And then my last pick, I got to go with my hot hand, the Dinger. I think that he's just running too well lately. Got a lot of confidence going, knowing that what's happening over there for him. So I got the Dinger as my 5th. I did want to hedge and take Chevy to win because I got the 2 Toyotas, 2 Fords for the top 3.
You and I both are taking the Dinger against the pit crews taking Stenhouse. I'm feeling really good about that Dinger pick.
So
right
am
now.
I feel a whole lot better than I did a minute ago about those. So let's do what Kyle asked us. And to pick a winner just doesn't count on our deals. But I just feel like Joey Logano is going to do something this week because they're going to put as much emphasis on him as they are Blaney, because if he wins, he stops a walk-off and somebody's stealing a spot.
And I can buy into that. I'm going to go Byron. I think William Byron wins this week. He's comfortable there. I mean, look, I've already said I'm picking Chevrolet to win. So to me, that's either Byron or Larson. And I like Byron here. Larson's already got a win. Of course, Larson can do the same thing for Byron. that Logano can do for Blaney.
Yes.
Not that we think Byron needs quite the protection.
Doesn't need it.
Unless something happens to him early in the race. But I like Byron to win this week.
In top 4, we know Seabell, Larson are in. Who are your final 2? I say Byron, and I say Blaney just by how they run here.
I agree 100%.
I
I think Byron and Blaney maybe look, Hamlin or Truex could win this race, but I'm with you. I think it's Byron Blaney. That's my 2 guys to get those final 2 spots.
I do like those 2. Well, Motley, this is, of course, the penultimate race, and we've left ourselves a bunch of time in our final segment today, which we don't normally do. And thank you to Kyle. Look,
and it's your last race or last show
of
with
this
us
season.
for this
That's right.
season.
I won't be here this season. And we don't normally, when we do radio, we do normally things. We always thank the producers and the guys in the back of the house. And Karina is not really in around much anymore, but Karina still writes our shows for us every week, finds all these odds. So we got to give a huge shout out, thank you to what Karina does all season long. Isaiah Wyatt, the pit crew, the guys that we love to make fun of. But man, they try to do their best to make the professionally unprofessional here look good, because they have probably the toughest job in television and podcasting.
Well, yeah, that's probably true. I mean, because they never know what's going to come out of either one of our mouths. So even though they do a script, it's probably the ultimate in ad-libbing when it comes to script.
They just look at us and go, "Oh, I wonder, do they actually look and go, oh God, like it's that time of the week."
So Martinsville this week. How many times do you race at Martinsville?
Well, every year from 99 to 2017, except for when
and you actually liked racing there, even though you didn't win there, right?
I did love racing there. I used to say I hated it. Me and Mike Smith, of course, had the old statement of I hated it, but I did actually like Martinsville. I actually have some decent stats there, and I did like much.
Didn't Clay Campbell really tell you how much you could buy one of those clocks for?
Clay and Mike walked up to me. I finished second to Bubba Wallace that last truck race year, and that was before Xfinity raced there. And they said, well, this is probably as close as you're ever going to get to that clock. And they handed me the brochure for the Martinsville Clock Company. And
that is the Ridgeway Clock Company, which is Ridgeway, a tiny little town just south of Martinsville.
That is why they do the Martinsville Clock.
That's why they do the clock.
And which is why I still argue with my dad that we have one of the worst trophies in the sport, and I want us to do a slot machine. But never mind, that's a story for another day. Motley, you got some cool stuff happening at Speedway this week. You've got some drag racing going on, not NASCAR, but we got the drags going on this week.
We do. We will be feeling the power and smelling those nitro fumes. We've got
4 wide, by the way. Vegas and the famous 4 wide.
No, the 4 wide's in the spring.
Oh, they don't do 4 wide this
only
one.
2 wide in the fall.
Oh.
And guess what we have for NHRA? Guess what event this is? What's your favorite word?
Penultimate.
It's the penultimate event in the countdown for the championship for NHRA. Leah Pruitt, I guess. Tony, she's in the running here in Top Fuel. Matt Hagan, her teammate in Funny Car. Erica Enders could win Pro Stock. I think it would be her 6th World Championship. She's won 9 times in Las Vegas. She's the all-time winningest driver. In fact, she was just at our press luncheon today. She's going for her 10th win
at Vegas.
Yes, and she and her sister have just released a documentary on their career in racing. That's quite good, because Disney made a movie about them 20 years ago when they were
I don't remember that.
like teenagers just coming out, and now she has made it to the top. I mean, in drag racing. So no, it's going to be exciting. See those cars going 330 miles an hour, and John Force. You never know what you're going to get out of John.
Kind of like the guys doing the show. Never know going to know what's coming.
What's amazing thing about drag racing, dude? We get guys like John Force, Tony Schumacher, Ron Capps, Antron Brown. These guys have been
and now Tony Stewart.
Guys have been around forever, and then we got Tony Stewart, who might move up to the pro ranks next year. He's running Top Alcohol, so I'm always excited about drag racing.
Well, I appreciate you guys filling in for me next week. I'll be down in Baja. I'll be driving all the way to the peninsula.
Just don't forget to send us your picks.
I will not forget to send the picks. I promise.
We're going to give you minus 50 if you do, so we can try to catch you.
You better hope I have a bad week. You still can't catch me if minus 50 almost. Well, they can't for sure. But for me, for the season, thank you, VSiN. Thank you to all what you guys have done for me, Mr. Motley. Love being here with you. Sorry I won't be able to do the last show. Kind of bums me out because that's, of course, the fun show to do. But, always appreciate everything you do. Appreciate the stuff we do together. And Isaiah, Karina, the whole crew, all those guys, man, they try to make us look good.
Well, we'll have fun making jokes at your expense next week.
I am absolutely positive.
Good luck to you in the Baja 1000.
Well, I appreciate it very much. Thank you guys for me for the season, for Gone Racin. One more week next week. Come back, do Homestead, wrap up Martinsville. See you there, guys.